having a lot of intense doubts and not being sure if you like the other person, and deactivating and pushing them away is a very real part of the fearful avoidant attachment style, which makes it so weird when you start healing the fearful avoidant attachment style and all of a sudden you realize that you are afraid of abandonment. I started years ago with a program that was geared towards doubts, just very specifically doubts. I didn't know that came from the fearful avoidant attachment style back then. I didn't even know it was, or it could be relationship OCD. I just knew that I had had intense doubts and I had healed that and came out of it. And so for 7 years now, I've had a Dutch program about doubts. And especially when you're in that very first stage of kind of figuring out, wait, maybe this is not about my relationship. Maybe this is about me, and there could be more than the fact that, or the idea that these doubts are real. Maybe they're not real. That's kind of what that program is about. And what happens in that program specifically a lot is that these girls, I always want to say girls, now there's a lot of men going through it too, but for so long it was just girls. So what they realized as they were a few weeks into the program, that all of a sudden they started feeling this fear of abandonment in the same relationship where they had these intense doubts and sometimes even repulsion towards their partner. So you would say that you just really genuinely don't know if this is the one and you feel all these negative feelings. And then all of a sudden you're scared that they will reject you or that they will abandon you. And that is so confusing. Especially when you've had the repulsion before. But actually, it is such a part of healing the fearful avoidant attachment style, of healing the whole deactivating mechanism that doubts are. And it is actually a good sign, because that means there's progress. Because these doubts, these fears, this repulsion, it's a way to kind of defend yourself, to not have to feel that deep fear of rejection and that deep fear of abandonment that underlies these doubts. And it is so much easier to kind of project onto your partner that they are the problem, that you just don't like them, that you're not sure about them, if they would ever leave you, if they would ever reject you. I remember quite distinctly that I had this with Aryan, who was my boyfriend then and now my husband, that I would actually consciously think, well, at least I won't be too sad when I lose him in whatever way, because I have this many doubts. And at that point that I thought that, I had no idea that these doubts were actually there because I was so afraid of losing him, but it was just too painful to feel that. Because allowing yourself to feel that fear of abandonment, instead of covering it up with doubts and repulsion and having negative thoughts about your partner, is super vulnerable. And that is something a lot of fearful avoidants have such a hard time with. Being vulnerable, it feels weak, it feels uncomfortable, it feels like people can betray you, can hurt you really bad. And so you do whatever you can to not have that feeling of being vulnerable. And so you just start with the defense mechanisms, of which one can be having doubts, having repulsion, having negative thoughts about your partner. It kind of creates this dynamic where you see yourself as better than your partner, above your partner, so that they can't hurt you. It's an illusion, obviously, because when your partner rejects you, when they break up, that can still hurt a lot. And there can be fearful avoidants that kind of double down then on the negative thoughts and think, well, I didn't like them anyway, never liked them. But it's a lot of fears around opening up, trusting, feeling safe, and feeling vulnerable. So for everyone in the whole wide world, it is hard to feel vulnerable, to love somebody knowing that they could decide to leave you or that they could die. You could lose them in another way. So actually allowing yourself to love somebody, kind of be dependent on someone, is a brave thing. It is a brave thing to do. So you might be very scared right now. You might have a lot of fears right now that cause you to have these negative thoughts. But maybe knowing that that can switch to the fear of abandonment can help you to kind of shift into that next phase of allowing that fear of abandonment. So when you feel vulnerable, when you feel that fear of rejection, when you have these thoughts of that you're afraid to lose them and that they might go at one point in your life, that you can never be 100% sure, that is so hard for fearful avoidance, but it is progress. Know that it is progress, that you are setting steps towards healing. Nobody likes being that vulnerable. Even super happy couples can have such a hard time with surrendering to love, surrendering to this relationship, knowing that it might not be forever. I have interviewed 100 couples who have been happily married for over 40 years. And so many of the couples mentioned this, that this was one of the hardest things, that they had such a hard time just trusting that they were allowed to be together for the rest of their lives. And these were people that had been happily married for over 40 years. So they have had a good chunk of time together already. And still they were so afraid of losing each other. And so it is something that is just very human, and that is okay. It's okay to feel that. It's okay to feel that fear. It's okay to feel that vulnerable. That just means you're human, and it's okay to be human. You don't need to be a superhuman. Being human is messy and it's beautiful. And in that being a messy human is a lot of connection that is possible, and that is also beautiful. So connection is scary. Loving somebody is scary. And there's always the risk of being abandoned. There's always the risk of being rejected. There's always the risk of losing somebody. That will always be there. You will never have 100% security. And that sucks. I know it's not fun to hear that. But the moment you see that and really accept that is the moment that you are free to really love somebody. Weirdly enough, because if you keep looking for absolute security, which you are doing if you are having a lot of doubts and repulsion and negative thoughts about your partner, you will keep looking for that forever, because you will never find it. There is not one person on planet Earth that is completely indestructible and that, has 100% guarantee that they will always be here. So part of being human and part of loving deeply is embracing the fact that you just never know, knowing that you will be able to handle whatever happens when it happens, even though it would suck and you don't want it. It wouldn't be a good experience, but you can handle it. And there will always be love for you, even if you would lose this partner where you have this loving bond with. That love you feel is inside of you. And there's just one person for everyone on the planet is very scarcity thinking, because love is abundant more than anything. Love is abundant. So you will always have love. That is a guarantee, because the one guarantee that you have is that you will be there for you for the rest of your life. And so it helps to embrace this not knowing, this insecurity, and to embrace that love inside of yourself, that feeling of love inside of yourself, and not give that power away completely to another person, because then you're looking for perfection, then you're going to look for control, and then the doubts, the repulsion, the negative thoughts, the defense mechanisms come. You are your only guarantee. You are going to be there for the rest of your life. And that's awesome. That's amazing. So I hope this will help you to allow those feelings of vulnerability, because they are the opening to that deep love that you are craving. And it's a sign of progress. It's a sign of healing when you are feeling the fear of rejection and the fear of abandonment. So even though they're uncomfortable, just allow them to be there and allow the love that comes with it to be there. I hope this was valuable. Let me know in the comments below. As always, I am so happy you are here, and I will see you in the next one.